Welcome back to our Revelation series here on Barefoot Bible. This is our 18th video now in the series covering chapter 3, verses 20 to 22. Don't forget to submit your questions about Revelation below the video in the comments section there on your handheld or your laptop. Let's begin with verse 20, Revelation 3:20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. So Jesus reminded the lukewarm church, I stand at the door and knock. Now, although we often use this verse in evangelism, Jesus actually wrote it to the lukewarm church. And what a blessing that these backslidden, compromised Christians should realize Jesus still knocks on the door of their heart. He waits for a renewed invitation to restore fellowship, and he'll never force that door open. Jesus is so good. The artist Holman Hunt has a famous painting of Jesus standing at the door and knocking. And people said when he painted it, he asked friends to come by and critique it. One friend told him he left something out, the door handle. And he replied, well, the door is a picture of the human heart. The handle is on the inside. Verse 21 and 22, to him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. Verse 22, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. And that's a great invitation to us to study this today. Imagine if Jesus was to send a letter to your church, to my church today. Would his letter be encouraging, or would he write, I have somewhat against thee? You know, the scripture teaches Jesus is present in our churches, Matthew 18:20, for instance. And he's the head over the church, Ephesians 1:22. What praise would he send, or concerns might Jesus have? And what type of church would ours be? Would we be like the loveless church, having left our first love, like the long-suffering church, patient in suffering for Christ? Like a leavened church, allowing a false prophetess to teach? The lifeless church has a reputation, but is actually dead. The loved church, persecuted, but has not denied Christ. Or the lukewarm church, really taking no stand, neither hot nor cold. Consider what type of church might yours or mine be. Let's continue with chapter 4, verse 1. After this, John wrote, I looked, behold, the door was opened in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking to me, which said, come up hither, and I will show thee things which must be hereafter. Now, throughout the book of Revelation, the unfolding visions, John received a shift between scenes on heaven and scenes on earth. And here in chapter 4, John saw a door opened where? In heaven. And that leads to the next vision, which will continue to the end of chapter 5. So I'm going to just kind of give you a short list of some of the pattern throughout the book of Revelation. For more details, you can order the book. Revelation 4 and 5 are in heaven. Revelation 6, 1 through 8 are on earth. And then in verses 9 through 11 in heaven and 12 through 17 back on earth. When you get to chapter 7, it's going to continue to chapter 8, verse 4 in heaven. Chapter 8, verse 5 through 11:14 are back on earth again. Chapter 11:15 to 12:3 occur in heaven, and chapter 12:4 through 6 on earth. Chapter 12:7 through 12 back up in heaven. Chapter 12:13 through chapter 14:20 again are on earth. And again, encourage you, you can pick up a copy of The Revelation of Jesus, which I wrote a couple years ago, and it continues with all the scene locations throughout the book of Revelation. It's available either in Kindle or paperback on Amazon and other distributors. As believers study the book of Revelation, it's vital to recognize that divine connection between the events in heaven that occur around God's throne and the connected results which actually will follow, maybe not right away, but will follow here in our world. Remember, Jesus taught us to pray, Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Where? In earth as it is in heaven. The future will never be under man's control. God's will, it's accomplished in heaven and it will be fulfilled here on earth. And as we take that truth to heart, it's both sobering and encouraging. And I want to thank all those who have subscribed to Barefoot Bible. If you haven't already, please click like and subscribe today. Our next video will continue with Revelation 4 and verse 2, where we'll find John receiving a vision of God on his throne up in heaven. I hope you'll tune in again next week and continue our Revelation series together.